Hugs and handshakes. These two things, these two natural acts of human closeness, are but two of many things we've lost. It's been a hard year. And it's been a strange year. Valedictory speeches often note how, 4 years ago, at the start of our high school journey, none of us could have imagined who we would be and where we would be today. That sentiment has never been truer than it is now. I won't recount much of our time together. Though reminiscing would be appropriate, from outdoor ed trips in snow-insulated Quincy's to our last days on a regular campus in grade 11, this year, with what was lost and what abides, has been the most formative. And so it is to the past 15 months I'll dedicate this speech. I'll say now that you needn't worry. The speech will not be all doom and gloom. I believe that we've braved these taxing times and risen to an unexpected occasion. But before we take the big picture perspective and leave our lamentations aside, it is important to recognize specifically what COVID has taken from the class of 2021. We never went to BC. We never hiked through the mountains on Vancouver Island, never sat around a campfire and shared our experiences at the school, and, if the legends are true, never heard Mr. Chow's a cappella rendition of Shallows by Lady Gaga, which I'm sure would have been a delight. We never got to sit with Mr. Beatty and reflect on who taught us how to be Georgian. We never had a prom. We never got dressed up and took photos with our parents and dates down at the Palais Royal. Right now, we're not having a regular graduation ceremony. We're not in the chapel. We won't be standing shoulder to shoulder, belting out our last Great St. George. Trips and dances and graduations are privileges. It can feel awkward and even shameful to regret the loss of these ceremonies when COVID has laid waste to the world. But they were our ceremonies. They were important to us, and it's okay to mourn their passing. We didn't walk the hallways with the normal sense of early onset nostalgia. We took class from our bedrooms and dining room tables for most of the year, and when we were on campus, we were separated from half our grade, not to mention the rest of the school. We didn't have the choir service at St. James Cathedral. We didn't have a single evensong. We didn't have any concerts or any sports. And this year, as they say, we were due. We didn't have our proper connections and laughs, our gatherings and goodbyes. Despite this dispiriting and frankly heartbreaking list, it is important to remember one vital thing. We're still here. We've made it through 15 months of tumult and uncertainty. We've been resilient. We are all graduating today, and we all have plans for the future. Not only have we weathered more than a year of COVID, we've grown from it. We've triumphed in trying times. We've become independent, self-reliant, and asynchronous with our schedules. We've kept our comments cogent and concise amidst the clamor of video calls. We've connected socially and emotionally through a screen or by phone. Ours is not just a legacy of loss and languish, but of adaptation and achievement. Because the pragmatics of virtual life have taught us all to become listeners, a skill sometimes underestimated, but more urgent than we know. Our culture is learning how to actively listen right now. Ours is a world of affinity groups and allyship, a time of consideration and reconciliation. Engagement has never been more important. A year in virtual limbo, for all its deprivations, has taught us exactly this: how to listen, how to be present when it's not your turn to speak, how to remain focused when household distractions abound, and how to participate even while on mute. Our strange, unexpected year has made us all active listeners. And while we all have room to grow and learn, we have attended with nuance and courtesy. Of course, we have not done this alone. We owe our gratitude to the many people who've seen us through this year. If anyone has risen to the occasion of virtual learning, it has been our teachers. They have reworked, redesigned, and revolutionized their courses in the face of ever-changing circumstances. They sacrificed their time providing us with video lessons and weekend review sessions. They've made themselves available, received and implemented feedback with grace, and led us with unwavering dedication through a year of change and challenge. And beyond academics, our teachers have cared for us, whether it was a casual "how are you all" to start a cycle, a slice of class taken to hear about our lives beyond the screen, or a quiet note made of a video camera uncharacteristically turned off. Our teachers have been the deciding factor in our experience as students and as people, both with COVID and without it. Thank you. Behind the intricate planning of hybrid school schedules, virtual learning transitions, and endless restriction contingency plans was our school administration. Mr. Beattie, Mr. Rossetti, and Mr. O'Leary have worked tirelessly to provide us with the richest school experience they could, and their work has not gone unnoticed. They have considered every angle, planned for every possibility, and dealt with unenviable logistics. I recognize that they too didn't work alone. They're bolstered by an entire team of staff and faculty at the school. We are privileged to have had this genuine dedication to our year and our experience. We need to extend special thanks to all the staff who made this graduation happen. Because they listened to us and understood how much we needed to be together as a class, we're not at home watching a virtual ceremony. We're here. We're together. That is only because our faculty extended their school years to midsummer, a personal expense after such a fraught time. Thank you for giving us tonight. None of us would be at this graduation were it not for our parents. They've raised us, taught us, protected and guided us on our journeys from childhood to adulthood. They are the harbor we will always be safe to return to, even as we embark on our own journeys elsewhere. To our parents, I'll say that while lockdown life adds some fleeting friction from time to time, none of us forget for a moment that we are the boys now proud to call ourselves young men because of your patience and your love. We also owe our gratitude to one another. This has been an adverse year, and though social life has been curtailed by the pandemic, this group has stayed strong. We've checked in with one another, organized Zoom calls and group chats. We provided each other with the social support we needed to get through this year, the way honorary brothers should. Our fraternity is worth recognizing and is one of the strengths and saving graces of a year in isolation. Though this year's trials and tribulations colonize our thoughts, it is also important to look forward. We are all bringing something we learned at this school into our futures, and not just the skills and knowledge for careers and academics, but something more fundamental, something closer and more common to all of us, our virtues and our values. We're told that even after we move on from RSGC, we will always be Georgian. This term, a stand-in for camaraderie and kindness, focus and respect, is worth unpacking. We live in a world where our traditional values are regularly re-examined. When individuality is protected, is this notion of a shared identity, unity, and oneness opposed to our values? Quite the contrary. As one of our grade 11 peers put it, to excel at RSGC, you just need to be yourself. This is a school of inclusion. To be Georgian is to be inclusive, and that value is timeless. We need to go forth remembering that to be inclusive in spirit, in action, and in thinking is to have the strength and vision to see community in our differences, to find camaraderie in our diversity of persons and beliefs. If being Georgian is to embody, to exemplify, the values of kindness, compassion, empathy, and community, then it is our mission to share these standards. Holding doors and shaking hands aside, it is our imperative to include others, to be there when someone is struggling or just having a bad day, to be thoughtful and considerate and open-minded in everything we do. Typifying these values is leadership, and through it, we can inspire leadership in others. After years of being recognized and cared for, it's now our turn to take the Georgian principle of known and loved and carry it forward. Remember what it means to have gone through this college. Remember that this school strives to make young men of confidence, but not of arrogance. Remember to strike the balance between ambition and compassion. And remember that you have the power to make change, that already you've not found, but forged the best version of yourself. We'll always be Georgian. We'll always live by our creeds of kindness. We're entering into our own brave new world. We're starting afresh. It's time to begin again.